Why, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings, which I like playing. However, as I've mentioned last time, or before that, at least I mentioned in the description, or somewhere, I probably mentioned it, weekends only, so last video until next Saturday, which I find very annoying because I really like doing this, but it's pretty gosh darn big. Really big stuff. Now, I've given this some thought. As much as going to Lorne would be the logical thing, I've just seen a corpse. Could I keep my... I guess... No, it's the opposite way around, isn't it? If you, I mean, when I had to clean up a dead mouse, I wasn't too upset about the corpse. I was just, like, afraid of it. Because it's so spooky when things are dead. They're all, like, stiff and weird. So I think we can do Lorne later down the line. Let's go order some lunch. I don't even know if that works out the way that I thought it would, but we can do it. Also interesting that before we couldn't really save. I guess it's because the text box has to be there for we to be able to save. That's weird. Let's go and order some lunch. It's odd that this doesn't immediately reintroduce the context that she found a dead body herself. So I guess we can share the experience. So here's something fun that I've been thinking about too. Is when you see a human dead body and you see a non-human dead body, that has to be different. So we've been here a day. We barely know them. So when we see it, we would be desensitized in all kinds of ways that would be kind of insulting to someone who doesn't have the proper mental insight to contextualize it. Because to them, it's like, oh no, it's a dead person. But to me, it's like, dead thing. You know, like the connection isn't there. I wonder if humans can even make that connection. Like, when you see a dead human body, you're always like, that person must have lived a rich life to end up fucking dead in front of me. But, you know, with an animal, you're not immediately like, I wonder what that animal was in his life. I wonder what his job was. You don't think that. So I wonder if that mental connection is here yet or not. How long that would take. How long it would take for a human to start identifying a non-human entity as having a bigger life. These are questions to ask during lunch. That was quick. I can only imagine. Oh. It's raining? It was pretty sunny a moment ago. Yeah. Although I guess... Now I just feel... Well, I guess she would have done deliveries regardless of the situation, isn't it? Oh, that's just... Whew, whew, whew. What did you say again? Oh, no, God, I hate this so much. This is so dumb. I forget what the button is. Is it tab? No, tab just goes through everything. What's just the quick skip button? Control is skip. Look at this. Oh, there we go. Whew. Okay, so it's just that. Likewise. Hi. Hey just seems a little bit too bland. This just seems a little rude. I just, like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like, I order... Likewise. I don't know. I get the feeling that some context may be absent from this conversation. It got a little wet. Man, I remember one time having to go all the way from the snack bar to home. It's not a big walk. But it was a paper bag, and that thing was practically done by the time I was home. My food was fine, but the bag was just falling apart, which is really just sad. I'm glad that yesterday when I went to pick up a couple of things, it was just raining a little bit, but I brought a nice watertight bag for my book, so my book doesn't get wet. I don't care if my sandwich gets a bit wet. That's fine. Why don't you come... Listen... If we're going to have this many doorway conversations, it would have benefited to at least draw... Like, they have a doorway. They have a doorway picture, and they think they've recycled it. Or at least they've redrawn it and have a reference for it. If you're going to do doorway conversations, just keep it in. Like, just from a game design perspective, it's a little bit silly if the frame implies she's already inside. What happened to you? Did you fall the river? I don't know if we need to be funny right now. Let's just make quick save, because not too sure about this. Okay, it's just a... let's be nice. It really is. That's really odd. Also, if you live on the other side, wouldn't you want to go sooner? I guess you could wait. It's the funny thing about rain. It doesn't really rain that much during night. Like, rain really only happens during the day, I get the feeling. It's like, it really has to be some pretty bad stuff before it to rain at night. You can't fly back. But do they fly? You know, we haven't had a line yet that's like, there's a dragon flying over there. We haven't established yet if they fly or if it's just like cosmetics. Could they? I don't know if the aerodynamics would work out too well. Considering that it's a little bit wet And considering the weather outside, it's probably cold. Unless they like double wrap it, or they do that Domino's thing, those domino bags, just to keep everything warm forever. Like, I'm impressed how warm they keep it. Whew. Feel right at home. I bet to eat this. That's a little bit of an odd structure. First, hey, just get easy. I'm gonna eat. Like, I don't know. I think those should be more separate than this. But that's me. I'm not human, so that works out just fine. Oh. Yeah, I don't think she'd be too comfortable on the sofa. I also don't see any tables, other than the lounging table, which wouldn't be a place you want to eat.
You like it? I made it myself.
No, she probably didn't. It's actually quite good. It's really good. I'm just... Oh, my cheeks. They just can't contain the flavor bomb going off in my mouth. I might need to buy some reinforced cheek plates. That reminds me of Fairy Up Parents, where they had a joke about steel cheeks. Do you have something similar where you're from? I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, that's like the thing, isn't it? Like, if you go to another dimension or another planet, and the normality is like 1, it's like very similar. Although we could probably do is like 1 to 10, and then after 1 it starts getting super weird. And 1 is like, it's alright. And then 10 is like, Jesus Christ, it's exactly the same. This would probably be an 8. Like, the species are different, but a lot of the cultural norms seem to be equivalent. Like, the police wasn't being a douche, or being completely nice. I don't know. Yeah, but going back. If you go to another dimension, and you reach into a dimension that's like 1 or 10, and it's like super similar, there's some big differences, like the people aren't human beings anymore. There would be like would you be disappointed? Would you be like, oh my goodness, I went to another dimension all the way across the universe sphere, and it's just like home. Yeah. I'd be disappointed, just a little bit, just a little bit disappointed. I'd wonder, for one, if there's a me walking around. And there's just a dragon called Sapphire watching outside the door, being like, who's that guy and why does he like me? We do. I don't know. Humans are by nature omnivores and evolved from apes. And they lived in a relatively variety-rich environment near the equator. So it's incredibly likely that humans would have a very wide taste. They can also eat chocolate. I don't think dragons could. I don't know, where would they live? It depends on if they're warm-blooded or not. And whatever or not that they all have wings or something. Because the way it looks like it, they would live in vastly different areas and have evolved for it. Like, this isn't even the same as, like, human race skin color. Because that's mostly cosmetic. It has some impact, but it's not like if you're black, you can suddenly climb mountains. And if you're white, you can suddenly fly like an eagle, you know? Like, it's not like you're super adapted to a new climate all of a sudden. Not to mention the fact that a lot of those would be subdermic. My point, however, is there's big diversity in dragons. You'd think there'd be a bigger diversity in taste to the point that it would be harder to recognize. But that's just me. Maybe they all share it, and, like, the changes themselves are sort of like nose, you know? Like, we have a different nose, they have wings on their arms all of a sudden, you know? Like, the differences are vast to us, but to them it's like subtle little tweaks to how they look. Also kind of odd is the stripes on the snout. So, maybe there's more to it than that. I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. It's a little bit of a huge coinky-dink, if that happens. Well, it's a little bit of a coinky-dink. If I can order McDonald's, and I'm on a completely different planet, and it's not Earth planet, and McDonald's doesn't have a branch there that they know of, that'd be a little bit weird. Yeah. You think there'd be some... Yeah. It's just a McDonald's with a Ronald McDonald. And it's like a Okay, let's just not go there.
Well, that's true.
What do you think? Yeah, that's a pretty important question that someone's going to have to answer at some point. Even if it's like we don't know and we can never know because there are no significant traces or archaeological evidence to support any particular theory, you're going to have to answer it because it's a pretty big deal. If someone built portals like this and they link these worlds and not other worlds, well, maybe there are other portals. Maybe there's lots of portals and they're all over the place. But these are the only 2 that got turned online at this particular moment, you know? Like, that could be a thing. That'd be interesting. Because you'd have to have a dude stationed outside. Or maybe it's people have found it, but they just don't know how to turn it on, you know? Like, there's incompatibility problems. Or maybe, as I said before, it all goes back. Oh, that's cute, because I was doing the exact opposite. That's super cute. Yeah, but that's a bit of a stretch. You know, if humans did this, there would be more than a portal, you know? There would be a city of Atlantis near the portal. Like, if you build something like that that requires a large amount of power and infrastructure, you'd think that there would be more surrounding it in terms of infrastructure. Like, you don't build a missile. Like, those giant launch pads are very close in proximity to some pretty important NASA buildings, you know? Like, if you're going to build a launch pad, you're not going to build the place that makes the rocket, like, miles away. Unless it's, like, beneficial in terms of resource transportation, you might. But even then, there'd be some indication that there's transport, because you'd build a nice road so that you could transport it with ease, you know? Although roads tend to... Well, the portal's okay, so it implies that the natural conditions are good for preservation, so there would be something, like a foundation buried under Earth, maybe. That'd be weird, though. Like, if you trace things back, over time, evolution and variety would take over. It's impossible for a single idea to survive forever without seeing adaptation and changes over time. It'd be really impressive if you could find McDonald's exactly like here, unless it's the only possible way to make McDonald's French fries. There is only one stable state in which McDonald's French fries can exist. And every universe has them for some reason. It's the one multiverse constant. That's a good question. Let's show some personal interest. What does she do when she's not at home? You got kids? Now I just feel a little bit silly. You know, like, someone who is a waitress slash delivery person is not the kind of person to immediately think they have kids. Because it's a pretty busy job, and she clearly has to go all over the place, and her home is at the other side of town. Not the kind of job you take if you have kids. Sounds like a big investment. How many children do you have? Oh, okay, that would explain a lot. Especially since you don't look like the kind of person to have a honey bun yet. What is their wedding indication? Do they have wedding rings? Do they wear them on their head? On their neck? On their wings? I'd probably say the neck or the head. It's like a little tiara. Or something that doesn't interfere, because the fins are in the way of most collar and headband structures. And the wings seem to be universally incongruent enough that putting something on the finger would cause like problems with quadrupeds. So, it depends. Like, if you have arms, you put it on your arm. And if you have quadruped legs, you just put a little saddle on or something. I don't know. You're more of a foster parent, huh? Aww. The overnight kids talked about this. Volunteer spends time with them. Aww. How the heck do you find time for volunteer work when you're doing delivery slash waitress work? Because that's a pretty big investment. Yeah, that sounds like a bit old bunch of hoopla. Hoopla! I agree with Panoots. Why is that a jumping sound effect? Hoopla! Like, the more I think about it, the more I start to realize that Rareware games are so bugger formulaic. Like, it's very clear that the people made the same game over and over again. But what were they thinking? What was the idea? Like, it's the opposite of Starbound, where no one seems to have a fucking clue what the end result was supposed to be like, to the point that progress was difficult to measure. And now you have a game where progress is difficult to measure because they all seem to be the same game and all the things don't seem to add up perfectly. That's sad. It's very nice of you. I would say that's very nice, but to some extent, I am the kind of person who thinks if you're gonna sacrifice yourself like that, you might be hurting them in the long run by giving them a guilt complex, and at some point you gotta think about yourself. I guess that's true. Being a little bits can help. Just giving someone something to believe in is better than nothing to believe in. Having hobbies? I don't think she has time for hobbies. I guess that's true. Oh gosh, that's so sassy! Can you? Let's be sassy. Ooh! Yeah, listen, I don't even think Reza knows all that much about me. Like, the one guy we know, I don't know much about him, and he doesn't know much about me. Like, the introduction sequence where you would usually expect the full lowdown of what he is. I don't even know what he does, what he studied. Is he educated to go on interdimensional trivels? Did he bring a barf bag? Did he bring a barf bag for us? And did he just forget about it? But yeah, no one would. Maybe Remy does. He seems like the introductionary guy who would get like the full lowdown. Like, here's everything you need to know. And his blood type. Don't tell him we sent the blood type. And then Anna's like, oh, you already know the blood type. Oh, great. Then I took a sample for nothing. What would you like to know? What were you doing before you came here? Avoid the question, we're making it bad fun. That's classified. Nothing special. Oh, let's make it bad. No. A nun. Just flying. Not just flying. Do you do... Oh, aerobatics. That sounds like acrobatics, but slightly different. Well, what did she say? Let's show some interest. Ooh. Where can I watch? Ah, let's just be nice. Part of a festival. Well, I imagine it would be something you do quite often. What are the air regulations? Like, in the real world, you'd be surprised. Like, my dad showed me a map on how much airspace is restricted in the Netherlands, and holy crap, a lot of airspace is restricted in the Netherlands. Like, huge circles are just marked off as don't ever go here. Like, everything is highly dense, like the government and big important stations and giant airports are relatively close together, but if you look at it, the west of the Netherlands is like blocked off. You can't go anywhere without a transponder or the proper authority. Like, holy banana beans. That's nice. What were you expecting then? Well, what did you expect? That's a big... Like, there seems to be something that someone isn't telling me. Like, the amount of pressure on humans did this gives the implication that you were either a failed genetic experiment, they just blipped off into space somewhere. Like, I don't know. You don't seem too different from us. I don't know, other than the vast biological differences and the fact that you clearly have some more antiquated ideas about architecture. Ow. Like, that's the perfect Markov point. That's the perfect critique to give. Yeah. Like, if cultures are pretty similar, that's like that. I guess that would be N2. Like, N1 is physical laws are the same. N2 would be cultural things are the same, and then N3 would be like faux pas are the same. Like, you have to cough with a hand in front of your mouth and that kind of stuff. Now, that would be biological. That's traceable. That would make sense. Maybe bowing. Like, if bowing is a thing, that wouldn't make a lot of sense for dragons. Say something about you. Really? I have plenty of muffs. Like what? I don't know. Let's not be a jerk. Let's just say the part that... I think this is true. Like, a lot of people tend to put dragons on their shields, and they were like, look at this badass thing. Look at how cool he is. He stole all my money, but he sure is cool. That's a weird thing, though. Like, again, large lizards aren't common in Europe, because Europe is pretty dang cold. Too cold for most cold-blooded creatures. So why would dragons steal gold? Why? Who made that up? Let's be nice. Let's just... Like, I don't go to China and tell a Chinaman... Oh, man. No, worse. Go to Africa and say they're cannibals. You probably get hit on the head by someone who really doesn't appreciate it. Similarly, don't do that just to anyone. That's just not nice. I forget to do that every single time with Discord. I should do that more often. Noble creatures. Yeah! Like, the weird thing is, dragons are kind of universal, aren't they? Everyone has something that's scaly and like, big and imposing. Even the Chinese, they have, like, the scaly things that go, like, whoosh. But they're like big snakes. Instead of, like, big, meaty boys with big butts. Do they even have butts? What does it qualify to have a butt? Fun thing, humans have chins. And I think nothing else has chins. I mean, those look like chins, but they're not like chins. They're not sticking outward. They're just like the structure of the muzzle instead of an extra protrusion. Now you'll always look at things and go, it has a chin? Nope. Yeah. What kind of special power do I have? The power to play backgammon. It's like, what is this mysterious games with all these arrows? It's called backgammon. Give me the dice. Well, they have that mysterious sphere thing, so I'm pretty sure we'd be like, well, that's a mysterious thing to use. I wonder if the crucifix would work. If they'd be like, I know what that is. I guess they wouldn't, because I don't think you can crucify a dragon. They don't look like the kind of thing you could hung up on some wood. Oh, I guess that's true. I mean, if I saw a dragon, I'd be like, wowie kazowie, I can make a good mattress out of that. Or a theme park. I don't know. Ooh, giving that look does make it a little bit creepy. You know, I have a good point. A really good point. Let me put that point down. I put like taking my pencil. What were you thinking when we first heard about us? I'm not sure. I thought it was awesome. I don't know. I guess I'd be unsure. I'd be like, I think it's cool. I'd be like, if this is like legit, and someone was like, yes, this is legit, you can start squealing now. I'd be like, ooh. If only because it means I don't have to look at things that are oozing from every... Like, think about this. Every single opening your body has is secreting goo. Your butt, your front, well, I guess your fingernails to some extent are oozing stuff. Your ears, your nose, your eyes, your lips. Everything is secreting goo because it keeps the bad stuff out. I wonder how much goo dragons are secreting. Probably a lot, because it keeps you clean, and it keeps the bad things out. I can't believe I just talked about that. But I guess it's interesting. Man, if you had like a mouth or an eye on your hand, you'd have a very sticky or slimy hand. You couldn't pick shit up. You're like, oh no, I'm so slippery on my hand. Why did I put an eyeball there? I see everything I grab. Ouch. He grabs a cord and it's just like, ouch, my eye. That'd be hurting. I thought it was awesome. Those are some free radicals, which is not what it means. What is a... Now look up what free radicals are. It just sounds so cool. Free radicals. Radical's a good word already, but then you get free radicals. And it just turns awesome. They are not constrained by society. I guess that too. There are layers, just like an ogre, to this conundrum. Neither have we. How did they find the portal? Did we discover it simultaneously, or did they just sort of sit on it for a while? And they're like, well, some point. No, I don't know why they're here. I also don't know why Draconic Desire is there. I need to read that book. It might give me the tricks to a good massage. I'm actually good with massages. My mother says I do good massages. I don't think I'm ever going to pick it up. It's not one of the skills I want to learn. Maybe when I'm old and I'm like, I'm done with life. I have time to waste. Let's learn how to massage people. Maybe then. But for now, I will take my amateur talent and flaunt it. Flaunty flaunt flaunt. Have you read any of them? I forgot what book that was. Give me a moment. I think it was that Indiana Jones book, which was nice. But here's the thing. Oh, fuck, what was I going to say? So some people might say, this is cheating. Here's a quick thing. These are played in chunks. Coming up soon, there's going to be like a 5-day period in between. Me reviewing footage to make sure that I remember things correctly is kind of a given. So please excuse me. That was entertaining, but nothing special. Huh. I'll check it out when I have the time. I do love history. I mean, I have this giant book on video game history, and another giant book about it, and I have that Sun Tzu thing. I guess that's kind of it. But I'm getting the hang of it. I mean, history's fun. There's so much in it. And extra credits is great. Like, history's awesome. People are fucking stupid sometimes, and it's awesome how dumb they can be, and how cool they can be. It's radical. Free radicals. I'll check it out when I have the time. Listen, why would you think they'd send someone with children or a husband or a wife away? Like, they don't know when I'm going to come back. I think that if you're going to do that, you have to be either the most stone-hearted astronaut, which I'm not, or you'd not have to have one to begin with. Can't say there is. I killed them just so I could do this. Look, I think it's kind of hard. Is this a long-distance relationship? Quick question. If you live besides a portal that you can't go through, but you can send letters and stuff, like, it's very easy to communicate. Like, communication is easy. They live on the other side of the portal. Is that a long-distance relationship or not? I guess it would be. Because you can't directly... I guess the requirement is you cannot see each other on a moment's notice. It would just be a long travel time relationship, or an inconvenient accessibility relationship, or something like that. Nah, I don't go out with people. The day I have someone is the day I am not myself, and you should totally call the extermination service, because I've been taken by a body snatcher, and things are about to go super spooky. Oh, am I gonna do it? I mean, it's just for cute's sake. I have to say, though, for someone who saw a dead body and still had to go to work, she's really taking this well. If I saw a dead body, like a full dead body, I'd be like, radical. And I'd be forensic investigating it. But I would be milking it for a day off. Be like, hey, listen, I saw a dead body. I'm gonna stay home for today, just kind of wear it off. You know? I'd milk that opportunity. I'm lazy like that. Well, there is someone. Is it a little early, though? Let's make a quick save. I think it's a little early. I don't want. Oh wait. Should I be? Oh man, I'm just loving this. I don't know. Should I say maybe? Should I say maybe? Should I be direct? I don't know. I think if I'm gonna be direct, she's gonna go. There's gonna be like winky, wink, wink, wink. I love it when characters go winky, wink, wink, and they just rapidly wink. Also, fun fact about that painkiller thing. It made like 100 quick saves, which to me implies that quick saves are made at rather odd positions, or at key decision moments, meaning that if you go to a decision moment and fuck it up, you just don't get it. Oh, I could say yes. Oh. But it's just, like, I'm here for, what, a couple of days? Most of the weekend? It's kind of early to start saying, ooh. Because then you seem shallow and kind of platonic in a sense. Although, this kind of human analysis is a little bit crass. Let's just be honest. Let's not pretend otherwise. That's rude. I don't think she's the kind of person who would appreciate mystery. Oh my. Look at this questionnaire. Oh golly. Oh golly. Oh. The thing is, though, do you know anyone I know? Like, as it's been established, I know Reza, I know Maverick, I know Sebastian, I know all those people. But is this a small enough community that kind of stuff would happen? I don't even know how big this community is relative to others. Is kind of a big question. Like, if the portal is found near a metropolis, that would have a huge impact on things. More so than if it's like a small town place. That's the kind of stuff that launches the Daily Bugle into the Global Bugle. And they still want pictures of Spider-Man. Oh, just having fun. I should be someone who's a stickler for a rule when it's all shits and giggles and nobody really cares. I'm like, whatever. I'm the kind of guy who would house rule a stupid rule just to keep the fun going, you know? Why stick to the rules when you could be having a blast? He says, opening cheat engine and quickly altering some variables. I'm a hacker boy. I hope someday to actually learn how to do cheat engine. Like, I know it works similar to... Like, I've looked and failed to find cheats on things like Kirby. And it's interesting to track bits and bytes and see them move around in system memory. But that's an emulator. That's like in an emulated environment. Actually doing your system computer, that's kind of a... That's a big ask. I'm just having fun. Let's just be nice. This sounds accusation, and this is kind of like... You and me both. Oh, do we even have a bottle? A bottle, and it's attracted to me. Then I'd constantly have to do dares, and I don't want to eat an apple right now. That's cute. That's kind of cute. Listen, we've talked twice. I think dares are something you do after a little bit of time, and you're like, I know what gets up his nerves, and you make them touch something they don't want to touch. Or you make them shift something. Or they have OCD, and you have them throw the table over, and everyone's like, ha, you have to clean that up now. And then you're like, well, I guess that could have been a friendly thing, but it's kind of a dick move. Anything? Or that include peeking down the hallway when it's dark? Well, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Truth or Dare is like an escalating system. It's a system that encourages itself to become worse if things get sour, and it just can ruin things. It's like Monopoly, in a sense. Everything just gets worse over time. Unless you know how to stay friendly, and that's kind of hard. Who goes first? Oh. Alright. This is just... Holy shit, man. You do not walk in on someone and go truth or dare. What's your most guarded secret? That's crass and rash. What's the most amazing thing that happened to you? Personal, very good way to open doors. Maybe a little bit early. I don't think that's the kind of stuff you do when you get to second base. You know, like you have a little bit of ground, you got some space to fall back on. You don't immediately look like an idiot or an asshole or someone who's just a little bit creepy. But ticklish, though. I guess that's the most playful thing compared to everything else. Like, these are going to be dares, and that's not going to be fun. Although, I would know what to dare. Standing on her head, maybe? How would that affect them? Like, if you're a quadruped, I can imagine that being upside down would be significantly less pleasant, considering that your body is not orientated vertically to begin with. Although, it probably wouldn't affect you as much since you're not vertically oriented. If you're a mostly flat creature, then orientation doesn't matter much. A dog could be upside down all day. That's a weird thing to think about, isn't it? Like, any quadruped can easily lie on their back forever, but once we actually flip upside down, we're like, oh no! My head hurts! And I'm dying! Oh, I just want to ask this one, but I know it's not gonna... let's just go with something cute. Let's go with something cute. Probably my sides. The usual spot. Good to know. I'm going to weaponize it! What's my greatest wish? World peace. To be the fest. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. What kind of wish is it? Is it a wish where people know? Because I think I'd have, like, if I had a wish, I'd probably wish for something that would help everyone. Because I'm not the kind of person who really wants things too often. I'm not imaginative. If I could wish for something, it'd probably be... Well, there are some things I want, but I don't think they'd help me too much. In the long run, they'd just cause trouble. There are two sides to me, though. There is a side to me that would gleefully take the nuclear codes and just bomb everything to shit just to see what would happen. But luckily, Dr. Hyde doesn't... was it I don't even know which one it's... I think it's Jackal. It's Jackal that's the bad guy. Jackal doesn't come out at all, ever. I'm past that now. Oh, golly gosh, those were the days. Whew. Whew. Back then, it was just whew. Although, admittedly, being around little kids doesn't exactly help that. Let's just be... Like, being rich... People that win the lottery don't go anywhere. They have a terrible life. And being the very best... I don't know what I'm being the very best at. Peace on Earth. Not here, though. This place can go to heck to all I care. That's an honorable wish, but it's kind of lame. Well, you're invisible for a day. This is extremely close. A state of dying is not exactly befitting of the moment. Let's keep things playful. Because this is personal. This is like something you ask when you're like in a relationship and you're like, listen, I need to know if I can break your leg just by looking at you funny. You know? Like, it's kind of something you want to know before you go on a jet ski ride. Afraid of dying is very personal and opening and can leave someone vulnerable and more empathetic, but I think we're just going to keep it silly for now. Just open it up a bit. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Why did no one tell me that this was there? This sounds like important archaeological information that someone must have been told. Did Reza probably know? Heavily guarded while a team of archaeologists works on it. Wow. It probably does if it's part of the infrastructure. What would you do? I wouldn't do this. This is extremely stupid, because you don't know anything. If I knew the world was about to end, it could not happen, and still, how could you live it to the fullest if everyone else is? I think I just enjoy the show. My good and my bad side could both enjoy seeing everything just boop go away. If only because I'm curious how it would end. Is it a meteor? Is it a toxic gas cloud? Say my last goodbyes, though, is kind of the nice guy answer. Like, these are very close to what I do. I'd say my nice goodbyes and go outside to watch it. This is a hard question. These are hard-hitting questions. I guess I'd hope for the best. I mean, I'm negative, but I've learned that life is hardly ever as cruel as people say it is. Wow, that's a... Oh no, let's not do that. Because that is technically a dare! Okay, let me just... This is... If you're playing Truth or Dare, never ask a dare as a question, because then you can just dare them via the question, and that's so rude. My biggest regret, that's, I don't know, that's kind of mild. But let's ask this. This is kind of interesting, because she clearly has some measure of interest in it. Although, why would I have to be there? The question would be slightly less interesting if it was just like, hey, let's just go. Let's make a quick save. Optimist until the very end. I mean, I like all these questions. These are very good questions to really get your brain global thinking. If I ask you to kiss me. I want to do this just to see what the fuck would happen. Like, a lot of these questions I don't want to ask. I wouldn't ask. But I'm like, come on. Oh, let's just give it a shot. If not, I got a quick save. I gotta do one. Ah, I knew it. Wow. I guess I quick save, but I'm not going back on that. I mean, I could. I know what. I want to see that answer, because I want to know one thing about her that I have a question about, which is, a thing to remember is, you are asking someone to come back with you and potentially never go back. In that particular context, there is a lot you have to consider. Can I go back? What can I take with me? And can I live without the people that I know? She has children. She probably has to say, like, no. Now that I think about it, contextually speaking, she should say no, considering that she's taking care of it, people, you know? Yeah, it's a very contextual question. Yeah, yep. It's exactly what I expected. That is exactly what I expected. You see, thinking about it, the question has, like, a really straightforward answer, and it's not that interesting. Skippity, skippity, skip, skip. Skippity, skippity, skip, skip. Turn up my brightness. Skippity, skippity, skip, skip. I guess Truth or Dare isn't too fun if you don't do any dares. What am I going to have you do? Whatever you like. Take your time. Well, that's nice. Oh, that's great. But I like... Well, that's awkward. It's late now. I can't see Lorem, which kind of upsets me. Apparently there's an option to just skip doing stuff for a day because there's an achievement related to it. Well, I got some more free time. I said I'd go for Lorem, so let's go for Lorem. I do want to do that interview. I mean, I'm kind of interested in Anna, just because, you know, the technological department... Like, Bryce, I don't know. I don't know him too well. We met him on very bad footing. Like, the worst possible footing. And Anna and Remy are just like, hey, it's cool, it's interesting. Like, I like factoids. But I'm curious about this one. Let's plop down an old quickie and go to Lorem. I hope Sebastian isn't going to be on my ass. Oh, look, you're not in costume. Am I late? Let's be polite. I would ask that. Like, if someone was like, oh, I thought you wouldn't show up, I'd be like, oh, goddamn it, did I mess up? Did I mess up? Am I not wearing the right color tie? Is blue a faux pas if your character you're talking to is blue, too? That's an interesting question, actually. Is wearing a skin-colored tie inappropriate? God damn it. The questions that are coming are awful. Well, I'm here now. Am I late? Let's just be polite about it. Professional. That's impressive. But it is a question to ask. I mean, you know, size means a lot. And I think I could probably pick this one up and fly him around town. I wonder how flying is affected by the type of wings they have. Are they better for rolls or loops? Can they take off better, or can they land straight up and down? Speaking of which, are you fully grown yet? Did they send over a baby? Listen. I'm a blogger! Okay, so that's interesting. A postman wants an interview. Sounds good to me. Sure, go ahead. Just be nice. Sounds good to me. A degree in computing and you're a mailman who writes a blog. How the heckles did you end up here, boy? You are already a character with a lot of facets to consider. Huh. Guess they don't need a lot of automation. Although with all these lights... Oh, they have sustainable energy, don't they? They have, like, good sustainable energy, so they probably don't have to worry about all these goddamn light bulbs everywhere. Memoria! That's a nice name for a place. I go to a place called Memoria. Especially with that stack of pancakes. That's a fat stack of cakes. Yep. That's a big thing to consider. And a huge problem in Europe. So, in Europe, big cities are like Manhattan. They're all extremely cramped, extremely full, and extremely expensive. And most people live in smaller or further away communities, or they live in apartment buildings that are crap. And they usually have to travel large distances. Now, luckily, public transit is good enough that you can easily just take a bus or a train to a few towns over. But gosh darn it, if you live in Europe, you probably have to travel a lot, no matter where you are. Even though everything is close together, you probably don't live there. And a lot of outlet stores are far away from the cities too, because they need a lot of space, and there just isn't space. It's very interesting. Like, European city planning is very interesting as an American. And as an European, American city planning is very interesting. I wonder what the city planning is like here. Do they have a residential? That's pretty interesting questions. He's got other plans right now, though. Like his blog. He's working on a video game. What? Well, here's the thing. I'd scold him, but the fact that he wants an interview with me for a video game as a mailman who doesn't work in the big city where there are no opportunities, it's just such a weird context not to be curious about it. You want to be the first video game that has an accurate representation? Because that's interesting. Because that's kind of like Dynasty Warriors, isn't it? It's like it's trying to do an accurate representation of something that's often mismatched, which is Japanese history. The Chinese history is pretty interesting. Like, there's a lot of good history out there, especially when you get with big territories. Heck, the very definition of Chinese is very odd when you look at Chinese history, because there's just a lot of just parts of China that aren't considered Chinese at the time. And here's the thing. I don't even know what China looks like on a map. I know it's a big chunk. It's a big meaty chunk. But the exact contours still elude me to this day. Wow, that's impressive considering that we have smartphones out the butts. Look at my butt, there's a smartphone coming out right now. Whoop! Actually, I smuggled a smartphone manufacturing machine and I'm hungry! Making good content is very important. No, it's important to have a good trailer and a good Steam page. Not important to have a good content. Good reviews, though, matter. Humans have already been in the media. That's true. I mean, Skyrim has been republished several times, and the dragons really aren't the selling point. This could be an amazing opportunity. I could be rich and famous for making the first authentic video game. Everyone else is just cheapskates. No, let's be nice. He's clearly just, you know... I'm not doing a lot, actually. I'm not doing too much. I'll stay. I don't want to beat this guy out of the field. That's rude. I mean... He's a mailman who did quite a lot of work to get to me. Like, what kind of a jerk do you have to be to turn him down? I don't have anything to do. Like, I'm here for like a few days. I don't have a full schedule. I don't exactly know what my schedule even is. I don't know where I'm expected at any time. So, vacation mode on. Yeah, reporters can be slimy slime balls. Ooh. What are humans even going to do in the video game, though? Are they an enemy? Are they an ally? Are they a choosable race? Are they a civilization-esque thing? These are a lot of questions. Also, couldn't he just ask for the PDAs? You'd think there would be something in it. I'll treat this delicate matter with the required finesse. You like using fancy words, don't you? Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm sure of it. He seems like a genuine man. With genuine pants. Except he isn't wearing them. Yeah. Ah, that's kind of... No, I think it would emphasize it. I think it would put some stress on it, you know? Big old fancy stress balls. That's what I mean. No, probably not. That's also kind of a thing, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter what you think about dragons and the existence thereof. Their statues still look good. Except that the one that I have, the head broke off and it doesn't want to go back on, and it's also poorly balanced, so it keeps falling over. The point is, the dragon looks cool. But it has become a bit more niche over time. You know, people appropriate it and then they stick it on themselves and like, nobody else can take this. Which makes me sad. Because Spike is adorable, isn't he? Like a little purple boy. And he's not, you know, slim. He's just a big old purple boy. I don't watch that series, but I still think he's a cute purple boy. Especially because I like saying purple boy. But here's the thing, though. I guess it's a human talking, but I don't find it interesting. I'm just like, whatever. Humans are gross. Throw them in the trash, please. I'd gladly become a cyborg sapiens if that is possible. For me, humans are almost real. Great. Now I'm Jesus. I joked about it earlier, but now I'm officially Jesus. This is great. That's interesting. That'd be very spooky. Our. I'm with you on this. Certainly seem passionate enough about this. I'm with you on this. Let's show some direct support. Because passion is like, you seem interested. I'm not. You know, it implies context is important. The funny thing is, though, you have to analyze the context of the sentence and of the potential author, because certain authors tend to think of certain sentences in certain ways. Like, if I write something, there's a good chance that some of my sentences might mean something else that you think they do, because I write that way. What did he say then? I love humans. Nah! I'm not a horrible person, though. Wow, you really thought this through, didn't you? I like this guy. He loves chewing up facts, and I love chewing on facts too. They're like candy canes. Except you're not supposed to chew candy canes. Ugh. Finally, it's a community simulation game. It starts out with the player character moving into a procedurally connected to all kinds of physical creatures. Boy, that sounds like you are way over your head. Like, this is a personal project, so the odds are that he's self-funding it and he doesn't have to worry about the greater scheme. But this sounds like a project that's expensive, will go through several art changes and UX and UI changes. Like, boy, you are getting into a big deal. Unless you've got a basis you're going to build this shit on, you are in a big trouble. You have 2 humans to base this on. I hope I brought some pictures. I don't know. That sounds like... No, that's The Sims. He's making The Sims. But with non-humans is the point. I like The Sims, though. I like simulations. Because simulations are like history. And they're often interesting. I really love RimWorld. And if it's like RimWorld, I'm like, sure, let's go for it. Let's go for it. I like it. Golly gosh, I'm about to get a history lesson. The human is a physical... Oh my goodness! Did he just explain the Holy Trinity to me? Like, I don't know much about Christianity, but I happen to know that the Holy Trinity's idea is like, God is a thing, God is a thing, God is a thing. And this sounds very similar to that. I'm very annoyed that I can't say, isn't that like The Sims, and isn't this just the Holy Trinity all over again? I guess it would make sense, wouldn't it? Like, we have all those interpretations of dragons, and what they could mean and what they could be. And I guess that is just a way to look at it, is you can interpret everything on these levels as greater than life, greater than existence, and inexistence. The 3 levels of things you can interpret them as entities that exist within. I wonder if they know Zeus. If they know Zeus, I'm in. I love Zeus. Big old grunchy man throwing lightning bolts and doing all kinds of rude stuff. Let's start with the physical aspects. What? Doesn't sound anything like we have at all. What god would possibly want to turn to? So that just means that this entire dimension was created by a bunch of scalies who had a little too much advanced tech. A breath weapon. You've been playing one too many MMOs, haven't you? Calling it a breath weapon. I can rub two sticks together to make fire. Really? Well, your hands do look a bit chubby. And your shoulder location does mean you do have some... Like, with the wings there, you'd have some limitations as to how far your shoulders can move. Those bones would get in the way. That's interesting. That's a very interesting way to put it. And I like that. I love the idea of giving something and then losing it. It is literally a gift. It is a cutting off your arm and gluing it on someone else. That's true. Like, a lot of people scold wars, but wars are kind of a driving force behind some pretty snazzy tech. That begs the question, why you developed a lot of electric-based lighting? Because if you have fire, you could just, you know, light things on fire. I guess fuel would be expensive, though. Like, electric lighting is probably more efficient in some way. That is extremely... Like, I understand the character's supposed to be a psychologist, but that is one heck of a leap of logic to make. Like, immediately going to that kind of assumption is not something I would do. But I guess it is a valid assumption to make. You know, it's like things are bleeding over and melding together. Oh, implying that you aren't human. I'm just saying that if you really have been in contact with humans, it seems to me that something very similar to myself. That would severely complicate matters, because it implies there are non-human humans out there, and that's gonna be a butch and a half to solve. Or it's a branching point, where the modern human and the modern dragon human just kind of said, I'm gonna stay here, you're gonna stay there, do what you want. That's also interesting, isn't it? Is if you find a lot of classifications, you eventually have to divide them up, and you start realizing that certain things that look similar aren't necessarily similar. I mean, it's not like a platypi and a cow. Like, you can keep those apart, but if you find several different kinds of horses, it might be hard to tell them apart just by skeleton, unless you know what you're looking for. He's nice. I like this guy. Talking intellectually is nice after that just hilarious little fooling around. To which I remember... She's impressed! Wowie kazowie! Also, fun fact, one of these characters was made by someone else. There was a specific rank for that. I don't know who it is. Not me, though. And touching the other two categories of humans. What do you call them again? So, you are literally referring to human things, not characteristics or traits. Oh my goodness. Someone's going to explain the Holy Trinity. This is not going to work out. Fun fact, the Christian church kind of split in half because of a disagreement over what the Holy Trinity meant. That stuff is so fundamental that people died over it. Like, big shot, head off, dead. Whew. I guess that's a good way to put it. For the purposes of this conversation. What do you know about angels? How do they know about angels? Although, you do know that angels have feathery wings. In general, feathery, because feathers are soft, and scales are equivalent to evil. But another interesting thing, original angels looked like garbage. They were eyes with fire and wheels and rubbery. Like, they weren't people. That was modern invention. That's a big step to make. Yeah, that tends to happen a lot. Wow, he actually considered the evolutionary prospects of a certain situation. This conversation is long. So in the end, you have a lot of different ideas. The only connection is weird human. That's fascinating. I don't think we have that. Except with angels. Angels are, like, weird. And demons. Demons are weird. They share some basic histories. You visit as well, by the way. Well, you're not a reptile like us. You look more like a conventional mammal either. That's true. A lot of conventional mammals don't look like humans. Like, at all. Wait one gosh golly darn minute. Wasn't there, like, a long time ago, an animal similar to humans that is prospected to have intelligence similar to human? I don't know. It's a detail I remember from a trump card, so who knows how true that is. Not a reptile like us. You don't have a mammal either. We are mammals, though. Yeah, but different. You don't? Not even dolphins? They're pretty smart. Not even octopi? But they're not mammals. Do you have crows? If you have crows, I'm on board. Do you have monkeys? I've never heard of Blemius. Why would you call it a Blemius? A human without a head. How does that work? How do they eat? Oh, I know those. Those are weird. Like mer-humans? Really? Well, the last part I'm willing to believe, but I've never really read about shape-shifting dragons. Well, that's a mental image I'd rather not have right now, sir. Apparently. Are you sure? I mean, that's a little bit of a jerk move, but let's go for it. Let's be a little cheeky. Why did you have to learn myths? Wouldn't it be better if we went in just as a clean slate and just not go off of that because of the odds of myths being correlatable is minimal, you know? Like, this is an N1 universe, so things might not work out that way. I think I need to rework that scale. Like, 0 will be nothing at all, and then -1 would be literal opposites. But then you get some weird patterns in that. And then 1 to 10 would be like normalcy, and then 10 would be perfect copy to the point of mirror universe. And then 9 would be parallel, and then you go, I really want to work that out, because that sounds like an interesting scale to have. Especially in comic books. Comic books could use that. They have so many goddamn dimensions. The last one is a good one, though. It's good to know about humans. Yeah, we haven't exactly talked about humans. Yeah, there are some weird diseases out there. Like, you can be huge, and then you die because you're too big. Or you could be tiny, and then you die because you're too tiny. And we don't have that many eye colors. We have green, brown, red, but that's related to blood instead of coloring, and blue. Like, there isn't much. Yeah, you probably should have thought about the practical components. Yep. Making a few graphics. Oh my goodness, don't tell me you're a graphics designer who just got into video games. A few months for a simulation game. Not as much as you think. You're going to be debugging for months still. That's very important. It's very hard to figure out what criticism you should take and what criticism you can disregard. Well, considering that he's sinking money into it, the odds are that he's probably going to make it back because it's a long-term self-funding investment. You know,
I could put on my resume.
I don't think that if this doesn't work out, you want to put it on your resume, boy. You work as a mailman. You already have another job, sir. Yeah, they can sync up time. In a nutshell. Deadlines are a good way to ensure to get something get done, though. I want to say, he does seem to know knows what he's doing. I don't think I should be discouraging. Not everyone needs deadlines to work properly. Yeah. I was kind of curious how they work in terms of dexterity. That does sound very complicated. I guess it explains the lack of general cutlery is just because it's not practical. I have to keep my nails shut. Well, luckily I never have that problem. Why don't you just wear gloves? If they're long enough to damage the letters, you could probably still do it. Huh. Oh, let's be curious. Why is that? Guess you would have speed on your side, considering your aerodynamics. He really does strike a bit childish, though, or at least very excited. Like he's given it thought. Jesus, per Jesus. Duty! A magnifying glass. I'm more of a microscope man myself, though. Also, I was actually kind of glad that the previous one didn't obviously feature a character, but here we go. Featuring a character in Chapter 2. I think that's a good point to end it off. Also, that basket looks just peachy. Another day, another morning. I wonder how far the portal is. Oh, this is where we're going. Well, if this is where we're going, I think we're gonna call it a save. Pow! What's her status? Good! Impressed. I wonder what good means, relatively speaking. Is impressed better? Who knows? Or maybe it's all just variety. Like, I don't know. You could do it like there's multiple branches and they all go to the same place. Who knows? I guess he wouldn't be impressed, considering that I've already impressed him with a lot of knowledge. But next time, it's Bryce who shows up at my doorstep in the middle of the morning, even though I think that someone who works as chief of police would probably have some paperwork on his desk that he'd have to take care of before he starts doing personal visits like this. But that'll have to wait until next Saturday, because as I said, I will not be doing this on weekdays because it is long, I do not have time. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that, because I want to keep playing, because it's fun, because I'm having fun, and I am considering doing multiple playthroughs and just shoving things up a bit. If only to get the collectibles and the achievements in the end gallery, and I gotta go and hit the toilet, as usual, because I've been sitting here for an hour. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you didn't feel too bad about it. Don't forget about the contest in the description if you want to partake. Otherwise, do remember that this guy sure looks stirred. Oh, let's just sneak a peek. Oh no! Oh no!